Welcome back to Curious Modeling, where we turn questions into data and data into answers. Today, we're launching a brand new series that answers one of the most fascinating questions in the modern workplace. What happens when we apply data science to people? Welcome to episode 1 of People Analytics, turning talent into insight. So let's start with the basics. People analytics, also known as HR analytics or workforce analytics, is the science of using data to improve how people work and how organizations make decisions around people. And I know that sounds a bit abstract, so let me break it down. Imagine you're trying to understand why certain employees leave their job. In traditional HR, you might look through old exit interviews or ask managers what happened. But in people analytics, you actually bring data into the question. Data like performance ratings, time with company, compensation, manager scores, even data from internal surveys or communication networks. And you build a statistical model to predict turnover before it happens. You get patterns, insights, and most importantly, you get proactive instead of reactive. Now, you might be wondering, how is this different from traditional human resources? Well, traditional HR does the important job of keeping people paid, keeping organizations compliant, and recording activities like hiring, training, and performance reviews. But what People Analytics adds is a strategic layer, one that answers deeper questions like, what causes burnout? Which teams perform best, and why? How can we hire more people like our top performers? Or, how do we reduce turnover? So instead of simply reporting, People Analytics is about forecasting. Instead of gut feel, we use models. Instead of just managing people, we're understanding the patterns behind their behavior. And to understand this field, it helps to think of People Analytics in 3 big buckets, kind of like how BuzzFeed explains what's wrong with your personality based on your favorite comfort food, except with actual math. Bucket 1, Descriptive Analytics. What happened in the past? How many people left the company last year? Who got promoted? Bucket 2, Predictive Analytics. What's likely to happen in the future? Who is at risk of leaving? What does a future high performer look like? Bucket 3, Prescriptive Analytics. What should we do about it? Which intervention would be most effective? Should we increase training budgets or adjust management style? Your job, if you're a data scientist or HR analyst, is to move the organization along this spectrum from descriptive to predictive to prescriptive. Now, you might be saying, why does this matter? Can't we just keep doing things the way we've always done them? Well, here's why People Analytics matters. Because organizations are made of people, and understanding them better is a gigantic advantage. Companies that use data in their employee decisions are more likely to outperform their peers. One study by Deloitte found that high-maturity People Analytics organizations are 3.5 times more likely to outperform their peers in talent-related outcomes and 2 times more likely to improve financial performance. That's a serious business case. Google is a classic example. Their People Analytics team famously discovered that their best teams weren't the ones with superstar coders. They were the ones where people felt psychologically safe, free to speak up, and supported by their team. That came from analyzing data, not guesswork. So what can you actually do with People Analytics? Let's look at a few examples. Predicting who's likely to quit based on subtle changes in engagement data. Figuring out what skills are missing in your organization and building personalized learning plans. Using social network data to understand team communication patterns and identify bottlenecks. Creating fairer, more consistent promotion, and hiring decisions by using statistical models to reduce bias. In other words, every stage of the employee experience, from the job application to the exit interview, can be improved with data and insights. But, and this is a big but, there's a dark side to this. If you're not careful, your models can make the workplace worse, not better. You may have heard the story about Amazon. They built an AI resume screener that learned how to evaluate candidates based on its training data, which came from 10 years of resumes submitted, mostly from men. The model learned that the word women's, like women's chess club, was a negative signal, so it started quietly downgrading those resumes. That's how bias hiding in historical data can lead algorithms to repeat and amplify discrimination, even when no one intended it. So People Analytics isn't just about being clever with data. It's also about being ethical, transparent, and cautious. And that's the heart of People Analytics. It's data science, but with a very human purpose. It's about making work better, more inclusive, more informed, not just more automated. In episode 2, we'll move from what to how. We're going to look at the kinds of data we use in people analytics, where it comes from, and how to collect and analyze it without stepping into legal or ethical quicksand. If you're ready to find out what HR systems, engagement surveys, email metadata, and performance rubrics all have in common, stick around. Till then, keep your models clear, your insights curious, and your people at the heart of the process. See you in episode 2.